Well, very good morning, guys. Okay. Well, so yesterday we have just been talking about three things. What are three things? View data, view bag, temp data. Okay. So view data, view bag, both are same. The only difference is coming to view data, view bag. The only difference what we notice is view bag is a type safe. That's all. Other than that, view data, view bag, both are same. Only difference is view bag is type safe. View data is not type safe. But in both the cases, the scope is going to be single request. The scope is only single request in one request only. So by using view data and view bag, we cannot maintain the state of the values. We cannot maintain the state of the values. So both view data, view bag, both cannot be used for maintaining the state of the values. Both will not support you that. The second option, what I thought you is the temp data. When you talk about temp data is going to have more scope than the view data. What is that? When you talk about this temp data is capable of transferring the data between multiple requests. Temp data is capable of transferring the data between multiple requests. Already I shown you this one. But what is the problem with temp data? Once we access the data from the temp data, immediately all the values gets deleted. The values will not be present anymore now. I repeat, once we access the data from the temp data, the values will not be present anymore and all those values are going to be deleted. It will be deleting you all the values now. So that is the major problem what we have with temp data. Once accessed, cannot be accessed anymore at all. So that's what exactly temp data is all about. Is that clear? What is the error you are getting here? You simply say not getting means what should I say? What is the error? Tell me. So that I'll try to tell you what is the problem. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So this is what I was explaining to you in the previous session about view data and the temp data. Okay. Now, what is the problem with temp data? As I said, the problem with temp data is once you access the data from the temp data, immediately the values are going to be deleted. Immediately the values are going to be deleted. I just defined you another view called as a display and I shown you. Yeah, come on, let's try again. Let's start from home controller. Which action method here? 5, huh? 5? Yeah, index 5. Home controller, index 5. When we hit enter, it will go to test controller, index 1, right? Where is it going, say? All the values are accessible to you here. Okay. Now here I have an hyperlink. When I click on this, where will it go? Test controller, display 1. Test controller, display 1. So when you click on that, it went to test controller, display 1 and the values are not accessible. Why? Because already once the values are accessed in the test, in the index 1, so are not accessible to display 1 now. Not accessible. Did you understand the problem? So how to resolve this problem now? The question is all about how this problem has to be resolved. Okay, so let's try to understand about that here, how the problem has to be resolved. So meanwhile, you can just see, I given you this control flow for everything. For control flow, request to send to index 5 action method of home controller, redirected to index 1 action method of test controller. When the link is clicked, redirects to display 1 action method of test control. Again, the complete flow, how the control is going to be transferred from one place to another place. Flow of control, all the places are just given the flow of control for you to understand. Is it clear, guys? Okay. Yeah, here also. In the previous examples also, for everything I given the flow of control. How the control flows from one place to another place was just given for you in detail. Okay. Great. So now, what next? The next thing what we need to learn now is, the values that are stored, in in the temp data are accessible only for one time, but are not accessible for you for multiple times. No. I want the values to be accessible for multiple times. I want the data to be accessible for multiple times. If you want to hold the data and use for multiple times, what you're required to do is just watch. Let me go to index 1. From index 1, you're going to display 1, right? Index 1 is accessing the value, so display 1 is not able to access the value. Actually, if at all you want the values to be accessible in the next places, without calling temp data of ID, you're required to call temp data dot peak of ID. This is how you're required to access it. Dot peak of ID. Okay, peak of ID. Actually, it's a method. It's a method. And that's how you should write. Temp data dot peak. So what will happen? If you call temp data dot peak, now the values are not going to be deleted. The values are not going to be deleted. In this case, the values are not going to be deleted basically here. Temp data dot peak of price. The values won't be deleted. You can access them in the next pages. Watch again. Run the home controller index 5. Home controller index 5 launches test controller index 1. Click to launch new page, goes to what the values say. Now did I call peak here? Come on, did I call peak here? No, you called peak on index 1, not in display 1. These are two separate pages. Where did you call peak? Index 1 we called peak. So display 1 did not call peak, right? Because the display 1 did not call the peak, values are deleted. Because display 1 did not call the peak, values are deleted. Refresh, you'll understand. Refresh, you'll understand. The values are not there anymore. Is that clear? So if display 1 also calls peak, then also the values will retain. Otherwise the values won't retain. Got the point? So display 1 did not call the peak. So that's why the values are not retained. That's why once you refresh, you lost all the values. Once again, you can just observe. Calling index 5. Okay, now? Now here call refresh. Nothing happens, see? Why? Peak is getting called here. What are you getting called? Peak. So when you come to page, here also values are, but here call refresh, values are lost. Why? Display 1 did not call peak. Are you clear? Okay. Only one time, Dinesh. Only one time. See, simply see, only one time. You can understand if I refresh the display, it's deleting. Okay. Am I clearer, guys, all of you? So what you should do? We should call the peak method. We should call the peak method. When I call peak, it is just going to retain the values. But thing is, multiple values will be there. For every value, I should call peak, 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 peak like this. Another option is there called as keep. There is another option called as keep. What is keep? Peak, keep. These are two different things. Peak. When we call this peak is, tomorrow 10 values are present in temp data, but I want to retain only one value. 10 values are present in the temp data, but I want to retain only one value. So call peak. Call peak on that here. No, I want to retain all the 10 values. You want to retain all the 10 values. No need to call peak for 10 times. You can just simply call another method called as keep. You can call another method called as keep. What is the difference? The only difference is when you call keep, guys, when you just call keep, it will retain all the values. It will retain all the values. For example, go to display one. Go to display one. Okay, and basically here about this table, write a single line statement. Write a single line statement. So curly braces @ temp data dot keep. That's it. @ temp data dot keep. Where did I write? Display one. I'm writing display one. Okay, dot keep. So when I call this peak statement here, when I call this keep statement here, it is going to retain all the appropriate values. It is going to retain you all the values to you. So how do you call? See, @ temp data dot keep. Okay. So what is going to do? It is going to retain you all the values in this context now. All values are going to be retained. Okay. So now if you just observe again, index 1, are they sure? Oh, it's a method call. So we should start the block with @ and write. @ should be before. Now we just written wrong. Yeah. Which page am I calling? Index 5, launched index 1. Click on this. Display 1 came. Refresh. Notice that the values are still preserved. So when to use keep, sir? When to use peak? You want to retain all the values. Call keep. You want to retain only a particular value. Call peak. Did you understand my point? Excuse me. Which class? Okay. So the point is, you just require to understand about that only. Peak, keep. These are two separate method calls what we just So when we call keep is to retain all the values. When we call peak is to retain only particular values. So here the values are still retained. Why the values are still retained? Because we called peak over there. Understood my point? See, just a minute. This will launch. So last class where I stopped, I'm continuing from there. You are going to launch index 5. When we launch index, this will launch index 1 view of test controller, displaying the values. And now when we click on the hyperlink, we added to launch. Now click on the hyperlink we added to launch display 1 view of test controller, but display 1 view will not display the values because we access values in index 1 view and immediately those values got deleted, so cannot be accessed in. This is where we stopped yesterday. Are you clear? So this cannot provide access to the display one view anymore now. So access to the values are not available. To overcome the above problem and access the values in next request, to overcome the value problem and access the values in next request, what to do? We need to use peak method of temp data while accessing values, so that the values will be persisting even after accessing them and can be accessed again. To do that, change the code of accessing data in index one view as following. Change the code like this here. Wherever you have used the temp data of ID, make it of temp data dot peak of ID. Am I clear, everyone? Wherever you call the temp data of ID, change the code as temp data dot peak of ID. Okay. In this case, if you want to transfer data from display one view to any other views, there also we must change the code. Array, because once it comes to display one is losing the data, correct? There also you need to change the code. Other option, calling the keep method. Okay. To retain the values of temp data after accessing, we can also call keep method in place of peak. But the difference is when we use keep, it will retain all values of temp data and it can be consumed in the next request. Whereas peak method is used for retaining specific values only specific values. So without calling the peak method 3 times, we can simply call the keep method, and to try this, write the below code above the table tag in the display1.cshtml file. Where you will write? Array, that one I have written in test 1. Now I am writing in display 1. Now we can access the values directly without again calling the peak method on each value as below. No need of calling the peak again. Yeah, directly you can access it now. Understood my point? Directly we can access it right now in this particular context. Now call keep for retaining all the values of temp data, and peak to retain specific values of temp data. So what do you want to retain? All the values are particular values are. You want to retain all the values, then you need to call keep method. You want to retain particular value, then you need to call peak method. I hope it is clear, all of you. Understood the difference between view data and temp data? View data, view bag. No need separate comparison for view bag, guys. No need a separate comparison for view bag, because view bag, view data both are same. Even I say view data or even I say view bag, remember both are always same. The only thing where we require comparison is one side we take view data, second side take temp data. We are just trying to compare between view data and temp data. View data, what is that? View data values are accessible only in one request. But coming to temp data values are accessible to you in the multiple request. And once access the values will be deleted. No, I don't want to delete. Then you need to just use the keep or the peak methods to retain those values. The next option what we have is session. The next option what we have is session. What is session? Session. Listen carefully about the session. This session is very, very important for us here. Yeah, only view bag over view data. So the question is, going forward, we use only view bag over view data? Yes. Going forward, what we'll be using is only view bag over view data. We will not use view data. What we'll use is only view bag. Anyhow, both are same. Advantage with view bag is type safe. So better option always is view bag than the view data. So our comparison should be, let us ignore view data. Let's now onwards call only view bag, temp data. Okay? And practically shown you the difference between both the two things. Yes, if we refresh, it will be a new request. If you refresh, it will be a new request. Every refresh is a new request. You're refreshing the page means you're sending a new request to the server now. Understood the point? Okay. So what is this session? Listen carefully. What is this session? Actually, guys, session basically, like for every user, this will be created. This session actually, it is going to be created for every user. In the sense, you are a user and you logged into an application, Facebook. You logged into your application, Facebook. Facebook Every page in Facebook requires authentication. What is authentication? Your ID, password, credentials are required. Every page of the Facebook requires it. Are you clear? Every page in Facebook requires authentication. But even though every page in Facebook requires authentication, is it asking you every time? Tell me, it doesn't ask you every time. Then, first time when we try to open the Facebook, it will open the login page and tells you login. Okay? You entered the user ID, you entered the password and logged in into the application. Once you enter the user ID, password and log in into the application, what happens, your data will be stored. Your data will be stored in the session. I repeat, your data will be stored in the session. Your data will be stored in the session. Once after storing the particular data in the session, you can access that data in all the pages you visit. In all the pages you visit, not like one page or two page here. In every page you visit, you can access that data. Are you guys clearer or not? In every page you visit, you can access that particular data. That's why what we call it, single user global data. What is that single user global data? The data of one user is not accessible to another user. Your credentials are not accessible to me now. My credentials are not accessible to you. So that's what single user global data. Once the values comes into session, the user can access this particular session data in all the pages he visit. The user can access the data in all the pages he visit. He can visit any number of pages. In every page he visit, this session data will be accessible. Are you guys clearer or not? In every page you visit, the session data will be accessible. It is just going to provide access to you in all the pages you visit. You may visit only one page or you may visit 100 pages now in all pages. So for every user, there will be one session. For every user, there will be one session. So the 100 users connected to the server, there will be 100 sessions also maintained on the server. Watch that picture. User 1 connected to server, session is created. User 2 connected to the server, session is created. User 3, session is created. For every user, one session is created. So what it stores the data associated with that particular user only. So can I maintain the state of the values by using sessions? Yes or not? Yes, you can maintain the state of the values. But the state maintenance is only for single user. But data is global. You don't require to call peek method. You don't require to call keep method. Nothing. The values are accessible to you in all the particular areas for you. So that is the advantage with the sessions. That is the advantage with the session basically. Okay. See, session. This is also a property but defined under controller class. Actually, till now say view data, view back dump data are defined in controller base, means grandparent. But session is defined in parent, controller class. And the property is which type? HTTP session state base. It's of type HTTP session state base. What is that? View data is view data dictionary. Temp data is temp data dictionary type. But the session is going to be which type? HTTP session state base. That's a class here. And these are same as sessions in ASP.NET Web Forms. If you people, any of you people are familiar with Web Forms and learned about sessions in Web Forms, the sessions in Web Forms and the sessions in MVC both are same, no difference. No sir, I don't know sessions. No worries, we are learning here. But I'm just only telling for the people who have knowledge on Web Forms. If you learned about the sessions in Web Forms, the sessions what you learned in the Web Forms and the sessions what you're learning here both are same. Okay. Values that are stored in a session are accessible from anywhere to anywhere for a particular user in a session lifetime. Understand? What is that? Values that are stored in session are accessible from anywhere to anywhere for a particular user in a session lifetime. That is action method. Say that is action to action in same controller. Action to action in same controller or other controller. Are you clear? View to controller, controller to view, anywhere to anywhere. Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to tell you. Okay, in a session lifetime, these are just going to be accessible for you from anywhere to anywhere. Okay, action to action in same controller, action to action in same controller or other controller, controller to view, view to controller, view to view, anywhere these values are going to be accessible. So that is the great thing what we have in case of a session. Okay. Whenever a user connects to web server, whenever a user connects to the web server, server will create a session and gives it to the user for storing the values that are associated with him, which are accessible only to him in every page he visits in the site, not other sites in this particular site only. This happens for every user connecting to the server. So each user will be having a session of his own, which will not be shared between other users. In short, session is a single user global data. Understand? Suppose see, you are studying in a college, you're studying in a college, in the college guys, all of you are just going to use a lab. You're using a lab. In the lab, you basically carry some apron and all these things. So every time without carrying, the college has provided a locker to put all your belongings. So what happens? For every student, the college will give one locker. For every student, the college will give one locker. A locker is given to each student in the college. So when the locker is given to each student in the college, what will happen? Everyone's locker is private for them now. You can put your books in it, you can put your belongings, everything you can just put into that locker now and lock it. And that is accessible only to you. Here also, the same concept is going to be applied. What is it? It is associated with each user. It is associated with each user. So once it is associated with each user, his values will be stored into that session and you can access them all. See, once you store your belongings in the locker, throughout the year or throughout your college, that locker is yours and you can store your values now. Maybe 1 year or 2 years or whatever it is, you can store the values. Okay, so that's what we just need to understand about the sessions. Everyone is clear? Here, we just use the word here. What is that? Values that are stored in session are accessible from anywhere to anywhere for a particular user in a session lifetime. That is action to action, something. Here I use the word called session life. Here I just use the word called as session life. It is session lifetime, guys. I should use the word called session lifetime. Just correct it in your notes. Session lifetime. What is it, session lifetime? What exactly is this session lifetime? Actually, you're going to store the values into session. If I don't call keep method or I don't call peak method, temp data will immediately lose its data. Yes or not? Temp data will immediately lose its data. Continuation requests. If you stop it, automatically data gets deleted. Data in the temp data will be deleted. When you close your browser, automatically the data in the temp data will be deleted. It will be deleting the data for you. Okay. Now, temp data values are accessible only to single user only. Temp data values are also accessible only to single user. But when you come to temp data, calling peak or keep is mandatory. If you don't call, immediately the values get deleted. That's what I shown you. But when you come to session, the values in the session won't be deleted like this. The values in the session won't be deleted like this. What I mean is, basically the values that are stored in a session will be having a lifetime. Will be having a lifetime. What is that lifetime? 20 minutes. the lifetime of 20 minutes, sliding expiration. 20 minutes sliding expiration. What is sliding expiration? Generally, these are the two words you need to understand. Absolute expiration, sliding expiration. What is absolute expiration? What is sliding expiration? You went to a net cafe. For example, I'm telling you, today we have personal internet, everyone browses, but if you want to prepare a resume, you don't have a computer. You want to prepare a resume, don't have a computer, and you want to send a resume to someone. You cannot do it from your mobile. So you went for a net cafe, and in the net cave, you just taken a system for browsing. So you can format your resume and you are forwarding the resume to someone. Okay, you went for a net cafe. And he said that for every hour, it is 50 rupees charge. Something for every hour, it is 20 rupees or 50 rupees, whatever it is. So 10 o'clock, you went to the net cafe and booked a slot. You taken a slot. Are you clear? Okay, 10 o'clock, you went to a net cafe and booked a slot. So sharp by 11 o'clock, your time is over. Yes or not? You started 10 o'clock, the session started at 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock that is over. That is called as absolute expiration. That is called as absolute expiration. Means the moment you occupy the system, the time gets calculated and 1 hour over, that automatically your session is over. Did you understand absolute expiration? Sliding expiration. What is sliding expiration? You watch a football match or a hockey match in a TV. Each session will be 45 minutes. 2 sessions, each session will be 45 minutes now. In between, at 30 minutes, some player fall down and got an injury. Okay, and now the ground staff comes, try to resolve the problem, otherwise takes away the person. Some time delay, 5-10 minutes. Have you noticed it? All the time the clock stops. When the TV watch here on the top, it is showing the time. The time stops. The time stops there. All the time the person is taken out or whatever. All the time the time is going to be stopping there. Are you clear? So that's basically what we call as, sliding expiration. What is that sliding expiration? Sliding expiration in the sense, you played for 30 minutes. You played for 30 minutes. Then you are stopped for 15 minutes. 45 minutes is not completed. Again afterwards, the remaining time gets calculated for you. Are you clear? That is basically what we call as sliding expiration. So when you come to session here, it is a sliding expiration. What is that sliding expiration? In the sense, from your last request, 20 minutes idle time. From the last request, 20 minutes idle time. From the last request, not from the first request. From the last request, 20 minutes idle time. Idle time means the browser is open, but you are not interacting with it. You are talking on a phone call. You are not doing anything now. 20 minutes over. You did not use any page. You did not access any page. You left the screen like that. Your session is destroyed. You might be noticing on your banking websites and your banking applications on your mobile. You use a mobile app on your website or your mobile phone. You see now, you just keep on clicking different links there, it works. Leave it idle for 5 minutes. Leave it idle for 5 minutes here. If you leave it idle for 5 minutes, what will happen? It will tell you session expired. Have you noticed? Again takes you to login page and again you need to log in. So 20 minutes or 5 minutes. Default is 20 minutes. You can set it according to your requirements. Default is 20 minutes. You can set it according to your requirements. Generally, if you just observe, it's actually 20 minutes is the default. You can alter that time. In banking websites and your mobile banking apps of your mobile, it is defaulted to be 5 minutes. It is defaulted to be 5 minutes. That's why 5 minutes, if at all you don't touch the app or do anything, it will be destroyed and ask you to log in again. Why? Your credentials are stored in the session. Session is destroyed. When session is destroyed, what will happen when you try to visit a page? What did I say? Every page requires credentials. When you visit a page, it will check in the session. Are the credentials available? Yes, available. Okay, then no problem. Not available. Then what it will do? It will redirect you to login page and tells you login again. Redirects you to login page telling you you should log in again. So did you understand the difference between absolute and sliding expression? Yeah, not only IRCTC, yeah, banking sites and all, you'll be having that less session period. Okay. So that's what exactly happens to you in this. So did you guys understand about the session behavior? Yes or not? Okay. See, values that are stored in a session will be staying in them for any time without being deleted. But if at all the session is inactive for a period of 20 minutes, the session is inactive for a period of 20 minutes. Okay, default, this can be changed. Actually 20 minutes is default, this can be changed. Then the session and its values will be destroyed. If you are using it hours, days, months, years, you keep using it, nothing happens to the session. Are you clear? But if you leave it idle for 20 minutes, that sessions are destroyed. Okay. You can alter that here. How to alter, I'll tell you. The default timeout of a session is 20 minutes. That is if they are left idle for 20 minutes. If they are left idle for 20 minutes, then session gets destroyed. Session gets destroyed. We can change this timeout value. We can change this timeout value to any new value in web.config file of our project. Remember, in our project, we have a file called web.config. I showed you, huh? Web.config. I said you will be writing some configuration values in this. We'll talk about that in our in detail. The web.config file of project, which should be specified in minutes only, and to test that, open web.config file and write the below statement under a tag called as system.webtag. How to specify the timeout? Say session state timeout is equals to 10. Is that clear? So that is how you're required to specify the session timeout values. If you don't specify anything, it defaults to 20 minutes. If I want to change something, I can change it by using this one. So that's what I'm telling you. Banking applications, some of the critical applications, the timeout is going to be set as 5 minutes, 3 minutes, their choice here. We can't do anything. How do they set? Web.config file. So in your project, you'll find that file, guys. In every project I said you'll find the web.config file. Basically, this file is used for two reasons. One, it is used for doing some configuration settings to the applications. It is used for doing some configuration settings for the application. Now you see, you're doing a session setting here only now. You're doing a session setting here only. Here we are doing the session setting now. Second thing is, we can also use these particular files for maintaining some values that can be altered in the production environment. Remember the three environments I explained to you? Development. Second one, you forget everything. What is the point of telling you each and everything in real time? Everyone says, sir, will you teach us real time experience? You don't remember anything at all. Development, staging, production. What we do is development. Second one, staging. Who will use the staging environment? Client. Production. End user, not client. End user. Production is for end user. Staging is for client. Development is for us. It's basically, development environment is accessible only to developer. Staging is accessible to developer and client. Production is accessible to developer, client, end user. Okay, developer has access every time. Developer has access every time. Okay, so that's what the three stages here. So basically, the important point you just require to understand here is, my application hosted to production. My application is hosted on the production. I wanted to change something like A company name. A company name. My company name was changed, guys. My company name was changed. My company is acquired by some other company, and now the new name of the company should be shown on the web pages. Are you clear? In that type of scenarios, without stopping your application again, you can just maintain, you can just access store that particular values in the web.config, and you can change the web.config. Once you change in the web.config, without restarting the application, the changes will reflect. Without restarting the application, the changes will reflect basically. So these are the two scenarios where we just use the web.config. One is application configuration settings are done from here. So these particular settings will be applying for your application. Second scenario where we go for using is for changing any values dynamically. Understand my point here, not logic. You can't change the logics or anything. Any values like company name, address, phone number, contact IDs, these things without again restarting your application, you can put the values in here and you can modify them in the site. Okay, that is the specialty of the web.config file. Okay, these are the two reasons what will be happening. I'm not talking logic again, you're telling without changing C# code. Why C# code came into picture for you when I'm talking about logic? I'm not talking about logic. When I clearly said I'm not talking about logic. Logical changes cannot be done. If you want to do logical changes, compulsory you should stop your application and upload again. But this is not about logical changes, I'm just telling you. Changes which are not going to be crucial, not logical. Name of a company. Further, no need to restart your web application here. Company name will be present in the web.config and your pages will be reading the values from the web.config. How does it do? I'll show you. Just hold on, we'll see all these things. Company name is in the web.config. My view page will read the values from web.config now. It is going to read the value from the web.config. Tomorrow, company name changes. I'll change in the web.config. View page will read the new value. Understood? So it's not about any logical. Logical changes cannot be done here. Only things like static things, like not like logical things cannot be put here. Second thing, configuration settings. How the application should be, how the session state should be maintained. That's a configuration setting now. So these are the two areas where we use the web.config file. Okay, in every project, you'll be having this web.config. The timer is reset, Venu. Session is like instance, and it is like a timer function which increases for every time refresh action is not like increase, it is reset, Venu. Every time you access, it is reset. What is the problem for restarting the application? Restarting the application, how many times will you restart an application? Yeah, if you restart your application, the clients will lose session data. The client will lose all the session data. See, I am working with an application, you suddenly restarted the application. What will happen? I will lose all my information now. I am stuck in the middle. I am stuck in the middle. Generally, web applications don't restart like that. If they restart, they'll clearly tell you. Best example, IRCTC. Did you notice IRCTC doesn't run from 11:30 p.m. Night 11:30 p.m. IRCTC stops. And again restarts after maintenance. That's basically done in the midnight. And they very clearly tell that we are going to stop this at this. At the time, because IRCTC has a lot of transactions which are going to happen, any cleanups or any maintenance activities, all are done at that particular point of time. Backups and all. Generally, think one thing, Amazon is there. Restarting the application is not a guide thing. Why? Amazon business is done 24/7. Is it only India? No, it is done throughout the world. So the Amazon servers should be running 24/7. So if they stop any time, they'll be losing business. 5 minutes if I stop also, so much of business is lost. 5 minutes if the server doesn't run, what will I do? I'll wait for Amazon. I'll go to open another website. I'll go to Flipkart now. I'll try to do this. I'll purchase what I want in the Flipkart. I don't like to wait. A customer doesn't wait. Correct? If you go somewhere and the store is closed, if your store is closed, will you wait there until it opens? No. We try to find an alternate. So that's why continuous and constantly running should not be stopped. So that is the issue if you restart a server. So that's a server should not be, application should not be restarted anytime. Without restarting only changes. Very crucial time. No chance now. Compulsory restart should be done. That scenarios only, they will clearly tell to all the customers at so and so time we are going to maintenance and the server may not be running for you. And that too done phase by phase. That too done phase by phase. In some countries at one time, some countries at one time. Like this, they'll be performing this. So restarting of the servers applications is not a great idea. Okay. How do you store values in sessions? Same like how did we store values in view data and temp data only. How did you store view data, temp data? Not in this way. Same only. So all these three, view data, temp data, session, in all these three cases, the way you store the values is same. Only for view bag it is different. Only for view bag it is going to be different. But view data, view bag, in all these areas it is going to be same. No difference in that. Okay. How do you access the value? Accessing the values is also same only. What is that? Object value is equals to session of string key. Object value is equal to session of name. Afterwards, name is equals to, I already explained this to you guys. With the view data only, I explained about these particular concepts to you. Okay. So fine. Let us try working with this now. Let us try working with this particular things now. Are you clear? I'm just trying to do one thing here. I'm just trying to add two methods. Already explained the two methods to you. The same methods only I'm defining. Like what is it? Just a second. I'm showing you example like 3 and 4. Transferring the control between views of the same controller. Transferring the control between action methods of the same controller. One action method to another action method defined in the same controller. What about this? Action method to action method of different controller. 3 and 4 are same. Now I'm showing the same example to you by defining two methods called as 6 and 7. All of you watch. 6 is like 3. Where do you store your data? Temp data. Where are you storing the data? Otherwise both are same. Are you clear? 7 is like 4. 7 is like 4. Okay now. Now I should add a view to 6 or 7 now. Come on louder. 7. 6 doesn't have a view. 6 will redirect you to 7. The view should be created for 7. So right click. Add view. Display 7. Copy this table. Go to 7, paste it. Now change temp data to see if you understand one, how to work with one, remaining all same only. What is the difference here? The names are different. There we call temp data, view data, session. Second thing is scopes are different. But the way you work around with them is same only. No difference with that. Here also. Session. Session. Understood all of you? Session, session, session. All the things I change it to the session. Fine. Now let us launch what? Home controller index 6 and it will open your index 7. Nitish, you need to install the session package in core, not in MVC. In MVC 5, no need to install the session package or anything. That is in core, you need to install. Maybe you worked with the core, in core installation is required, not required in MVC 5. Okay. So you just to see that index 6, 101, I'm calling which method, see? Index 6. What is going to launch, see? Got your output. Okay. So what is shown you? Action method to action method. Same controller. Shall we check it out? Action method to action method, different controller now. How to write? Index 8. Okay. Index 2. Okay, na? So this is like our this is like our index 5. Index 8 is like our index 5 now. Only difference here, temp data, there sessions are used. Here index 1 test controller, here index 2 test controller. So go to test controller and add public view result index 2. Return. We'll do this also, yaar. On this, I'll place a hyperlink. On the click of the hyperlink, I want to launch display 2. Understood? Public view result display 2. Return view. So first what we will launch? Home controller index 8. We'll go to test controller index 2. On the click of that, goes to test controller display 2. Okay. So now we need to add a view to index 2. Add view. The code is as same as what I written earlier. Already we have changed up the session. And here wanted to place a hyperlink. Just wanted to place what? One hyperlink. And on the click of the hyperlink, what has to happen? It has to take you to click to launch, new page. Which page? Display. I don't require to call peak or keep or anything at all. Nothing required here. What you can observe. Come on, let's start from index 8 of home controller. Come on, run. It depends on the requirement, Deepak. See, public is better, protected is better. That is a foolish question. That depends upon our requirement. You want to use it only for one time, then what we use is temp data. No, I wanted to use it for a long time period in all pages, then we go for using session. That is purely requirement based. That is not going to be which one is better. If session is better than temp data, is Microsoft a fool to give you temp data now? Think here, when multiple options are there, don't try to make comparisons. Everyone will have a place where you can use it. Peak is there, keep is there. Which one is better, sir? Depending on the requirement. When to use peak, I said. When you want to retain one value. When to use keep, I said. When you want to use multiple, retain multiple, that depends on our requirement purely. Okay. So here you and me cannot sit here and decide of this is better, that is better. They are not fools who are designing the application to say we are better, we decide this is better. They are not fools to give multiple options to us. I hope you understood my point. Okay. So fine, watch. Home controller, index 8. It will launch you. Test controller, index 2. Click on this link, will launch you. We did not create a view for this, guys. We did not add a view for this. Which one? For display 2, we did not add a view. Add view. I missed it. See, because you'll have a confusion again where to put the hyperlink, where you're not putting a hyperlink. That's why given the code of all pages to you in detail. What to write in test 2, what to write in display 2. Same code only, you can copy paste once you write. But initially, first 1 or 2 times, don't copy paste here. Make the habit of typing manually. So once you are acquainted of creating, then go for copy paste. But initial stages, don't copy paste. Don't make that habit. Yeah. Which one I'm launching? Index 8 launches you index 1. See, refresh. I'm not losing any data. Click on this, comes to display to refresh. I'm not losing any data. So I did not call keep here. I did not call peak here. No need. No need of calling this at all. Are you clear? I'll show you a small thing. Watch it. I'll go to web.config. In the web.config under system.web, under system. It is an XML file, guys. XML file. The root element of the XML file will be configuration. Guys, this XML files already you're familiar in your C# with your project file. The CSPR was a XML file only. Be careful. There is case sensitive. I said you need to have a root element and all the things I explained in C# for you already. Now, what is the root element? Under that you have data in different sections here. App settings, system.web, runtime. Each section will deal with a different thing. Well, going forward, we'll understand. If at all you want to deal with, if at all you just want to deal with your website settings, the section what you'll use is system.web. These are all website settings. What are app settings? You know, app settings are for general settings like company name, phone number, address. Those all things will come under app settings. And system.web is to website settings. Come here in system.web. What is present here? It is just going to show you the target framework for which you develop your application. See, tomorrow when you are hosting a website in a public server, the server should know which framework this application is developed. Understood my point here? The server doesn't have 4.8. The server is having 4.7. Your application is 4.8. It will know that and will tell you, I cannot run this application. Or the server update has to be done to 4.8. Everyone has to tell their details. You go somewhere, you should tell your details. Without you telling details by looking at your face, I don't know who are you. Got it? That's what. So here we have a tag called as session state. Okay? Session state. Timeout is equals to 1. What is that 1? The time is specified in minutes here. 1 minute. It is going to be 1 minute. Okay now? Observe. I will show you how the sessions will work. Watch. I'm launching index 8. Index 8. Request goes now. Values are stored in the session. Index 2 came. Click on this. Request goes now. The values are. I am refreshing the page. I am refreshing the page. You can notice here. I am refreshing the page. Are you clear? You see that blinking to tell it is a refresh. Whenever you refresh your page like this, Your timer is reset. Your timer is reset. Actually, how much time? 1 minute. Now, after completing 50 seconds, I refresh. Timer reset now. Are you getting my point or not? So like this, you keep on refreshing. The session values will not be destroyed at all. But all of you remember, I am just keep on refreshing like this. Let me check the time here. Not showing the time. Okay, check. It's not showing time on my screen. Okay, you keep watching up your particular time here. Sometime we can just go for just putting up a timer and we can just watch. Okay, you can just put a timer and watch. Say, I am refreshing my page now. The clock is reset. Leave it like this for 1 minute. After 1 minute, go and refresh. The session data will be lost. I'm leaving it. Okay, after 1 minute, we'll just click on it. I on the timer on my stop clock on my mobile. So right now it is 15 seconds. Afterwards, I refreshed it. So wait for 1 minute. After 1 minute, go and refresh. The data in the session will not be present. We cannot wait for 20 minutes. That's why I just set it for 1 minute and showing you. Is that clear? 30 seconds completed here. Another 30 seconds. The session is going to be reset. Suppose see, now 40 seconds completed. If I refresh, I need to reset my timer again 1 minute from there. Got the point? Again, 1 minute from there. When you refresh, it will destroy the sessions. That's built-in logic that. Yeah, 1 minute completed here. Shall I refresh? Lost. Is that clear? So 20 minutes it happens to you like this. 20 minutes done means finish. Your sessions are going to be destroyed. So that can be changed by us, and I shown you how to change it in your application. How to change it? You require to go to web.config file. In the web.config file, you'll be finding system.web tag, and in the system.web tag, we write that. Yes, that's a built-in logic. Someone is asking the question, some banking applications, if we refresh the page, it will log in again. Yeah, that's a built-in logic in your web pages. If there is a refresh happened, they will kill the session. How can you kill the session? Session.abandon. Session.abandon. That is the functionality in the logout button. Sign out or logout will be there now. When you click on sign out, what happens? You're just going to come out of your web. So there is a method call. What is the method called? Session.abandon. Once you call the session.abandon method, immediately the user session will be destroyed. Immediately the user session will be destroyed. It is going to destroy the user session. So these particular session values are not accessible to you in the next request anymore. So what we call that? Abandon. Okay. If you call abandon means that user session will be destroyed off immediately. Sign out functionality is that only. Log out or sign out button. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Not like refresh, request. See, when you refresh, a request goes to server. So what the question is, sir, here sliding expiration, not expression, expiration. Sliding expiration is refresh, not refresh here. You're sending a request. Understand the point? You click on a button or you refresh, whatever you do, a request goes to server. Whenever the request goes to server, the timer is reset. I'm not contacting the server. If you're not contacting the server, timer is counting there now. Now request came, timer resets. No request, 20 minutes completed, it is deleted. Are you clear? Yes, Varun. Yes, in how many pages you want, you need to call keep or peek in all the pages. That's compulsory. Okay. You can just see the control flow, all of you again. Request sent to home controller, redirected to index to action method of test controller. When the hyperlink is clicked on page, it is again redirected to display to action method of test controller. It is again redirected to display to action method of test controller. Are you guys clear? Yes or not? So this is all about the sessions. This is all about the sessions and how do they maintain the state of the values. So I was just telling you, Santosh, the question is silly. Why to convert, why not convert to int, why convert to double? Tomorrow, you're just trying to calculate 10%, you got 3,850. Suppose the calculation is something around 18% or something. Compulsory, you will get values in decimal. If you use integer, the conversion fails. What is your requirement? Use that. Why this question is silly question. Why are you converting into double, sir? Why not to integer? That your choice, yeah. I know that there is a chance tomorrow some decimal values can come. Calculation is something around some 18% or 17.5% discount. 17.5% discount. That is the calculation now. Now decimal is required there. Okay. So that purely requirement based. What I'm telling Varun, wherever you want, you write it. Both views are, which view you want to use, that's your choice. Am I correct? Am I clear? That's your choice. So that's what you can just do. Session ID is not an integer at all first. Session ID is an alphanumeric string. Session ID is an alphanumeric string. Okay. So I hope you guys are clear with the sessions. Now, here, a big question arises here. What is that question? Sir, is a session created for every user? Yeah. Every user a session is created. Okay. Where the session values will be present on the server? The session values are present on the server. Okay, fine. But you already said that when a request goes to server and response comes back, the connection between the browser and the server will be cut off. Are you clearer or not? The connection between the browser and the server will be cut off. Are you getting my point here? When a request goes to server and comes to browser, the connection between the server and the browser will be cut off now. Okay. Now, there are 100 users connected. For 100 users, 100 sessions are maintained. How does the server identify which session belongs to which user? Did you understand my question? You went to a bank. You've taken a locker to store all your belongings now. You went to a bank and stored all your belongings in a locker. Tomorrow you want to access your locker. You go to the bank. How do the bank know which locker is yours? For every locker, there will be a locker number. There will be a locker number. When you go to the bank, what you should tell is the locker number there. You must tell the locker number. There will be two keys, one master key, one other key. So the master key will be with the bank, and your locker will have your own key. Single key will not open now. First, what they should do? First, the bank will put the master key, open the first lock. Now you are going to put your key and open the second lock. Are you clear? So basically, if the bank can open the locker, tomorrow what is the guarantee bank is not going to take off it? Not like bank. The employee of the bank can do a theft now. Why? Doesn't happen, huh? Happens, so many frauds happening in the banks. It will happen. Tomorrow the employee of a bank can just make a theft in the bank now. So a chance. That's where they will maintain the locker. But when you go to your bank, how do you say, I'm so-and-so person. This is my account number. I have a locker in your bank. My locker number is so-and-so. So then he will give you access to the locker room. He comes with a master key. You'll open the master key and he gets away. Then you open your key and you start using it. When one person is accessing the locker, other people cannot use it now. Point clearer or not? So that is the important point what all of us have to remember. So basically, it is just going to give you a unique number, and that number is what you're required to tell. Same like that, every session that is created on this server will be having a unique ID, and we call that as a session ID. Every session will be having a unique ID, and we call that as a session ID. Every user will have a session, and that is basically called as session ID. Okay. Watch this. I'm printing something on the monitor. What's the output first? Sessions are not stored on client at all. Who said you? Client said session storage. That's a wrong terminology first. Which one, guys? 8 na? This is the session ID. That is the session ID. It's an alphanumeric string. It is a alphanumeric string. So it is not string, it is not numeric also, alphanumeric. When you click on this, remember that value now? Array, starting characters and ending characters, remember. R2J, USH something. Click on the page. Are you clear? I refresh this. It is the same session value that comes to you. Okay, now it is the same session value that comes to you. Let's wait for a minute and test it. Anyhow, we have a timeout for 1 minute. Let's wait for a minute and test out what happens. What is the session ID it is going to show me? Let us just check it out again. Are you clear? After 1 minute, the session gets destroyed now. What is the session ID it is going to show? It is going to show blank, or will it show me a session ID or a new session ID? Let's just confirm it. We'll wait and see. But what I'm trying to tell, every user will be having a unique ID, and we call that as a session ID. So if I open this in another browser, you will get a new session ID. If I open this in another browser, you will get a new session ID. The session ID of one user is never accessible to another user. So every user will be having a unique session ID, and that is just going to be different from user to user basically. Okay. No, tomorrow is a holiday. Yaar. Tomorrow is a festival, na? It's a holiday tomorrow. Meanwhile, is the 1 minute completed? Let's hope it's completed. If not completed, it will reset off. Okay, let's refresh. You lost your data. You lost your data here. It is still showing the old session ID value. It is still showing you the old session ID value here, but your data in the session got lost. Are you clearer? Okay, so basically the point all of us have to understand is every user will have a session, and every session will have a unique session ID. One more time. Let's check like this. Index 8. Okay, index 8. I'm just going to get index 8. It launched you this one. And now I will just open a new just a minute. We'll try from different browsers. We'll try from different browsers. Index 8. We got a something here. Now let us open Google Chrome. What's it, guys? Home controller, index 8, 102, mobile 15,000. 102, mobile 15,000. It's a new session ID, what you have here. It's going to be completely a new session ID, what you have here. Here, see, Y0X something. Are you clear? Every user will be having a unique session ID based on which you're identified on the server. How many browsers you open, this particular session ID will be different. How many different browsers? One thing, all of you, watch it. So it is the same session ID. In this, I'm opening a new tab. Guys, all of you, watch it. In this, I'm opening a new tab. Okay? And in the new tab, I'm launching display 2. Means I'm not clicking on the hyperlink, you noticed it? Directly I'm going to display 2. I got it, see. Did you understand me? Are you clearer? So directly I go to display 2, I got the values because my session is present on the server. Yeah, there is no link between the previous page and this page. When I launch the new page, it'll go to server. Yes, session available, data present in that. It'll provide me access to data now. That's all. Understood? So in this 1 minute of sliding expression, actually 20 minutes, we set it 1 minute. In the 1 minute of sliding expression, in any page, you can access this particular session value. That's what I call single user global data. In all the pages you visit, this is accessible to you. But when you just talk about another browser, another session is there. For him, values are different. For this user, values are different. Okay? Opening a new browser in the sense how you need to test it, Opening a new browser in the sense how you exactly require to test it is with a different make. With a different make. Different make in the sense, one Google Chrome, one Microsoft Edge, one some other browser, whatever it is available to you. Not the same browser. Google Chrome only if you open 3 instances, no use. Different make. Open one Google Chrome, one Microsoft Edge. Next, some other browsers, whatever available. Okay, try to just a variety of browsers you open, and every browser will have a separate session data. It will not be exchanged between each other. We'll talk more on this session ID in the next session. Okay, we'll discuss more on the session ID in the next session. Okay, tomorrow is a holiday because of the festival. Just do well practice. So Thursday we'll meet again. Okay, and a happy Vinayak Chauthi for all. Class is over, yaar. Why you are still asking no audio? Class over, na?